and welcome to another FAQ Monday. I am your host, Fluff, and today we are going to answer some really important questions that are important to like one or two people. And the rest of you are just going to kind of sit back and wait till your question gets answered. Sorry about that. First question, Schecter Hellraiser or ESP EC1000 Deluxe? Both are really good guitars and both come out of the same factory. I mean, they are essentially the same guitars, just different body shapes. But I feel like the QC on the ESP and LTD stuff has never ever been better than right now. And I would probably go the LTD route just because out of the box, I think they're just a little bit better of an instrument. I mean, you know, the fret job, the setup, the action of the strings. I mean, everything is so good right now out of the box with LTD. Not to say that the Schecters aren't good, because they are. Schecters are great guitars. However, I think LTD has the slight edge right now, at least, over Schecter. Which would you choose to be, a Jedi or a Sith? And if you chose Jedi, what color lightsaber would you have? You know, I think the popular answer would obviously be Jedi and Luke Skywalker. You know what? I thought about it. I'd go full Sith, man. I would just give in and just, you know what? Because really, I mean, my mind goes to a practical adult things like who would have the better place to sleep? Where would it be quieter on? Some snowy cave? Or, you know, a giant Death Star where I could have my own big suite with like turny things that puts my helmet on or whatever, or a big table of ashes of my enemies to put my helmet in. Things like that. That sounds more comfy to me than a snowy cave or a muddy swamp in the Dagobah system. So, just my opinion, I would go full Sith just for the creature comforts. I mean, yeah, you have to do a lot of bad stuff, but you're very comfortable most of the time, I would assume. What would you choose, Jedi or Sith? Let me know in the comments. Hey Fluff, quick question. Rev Generator 100, Mesa Boogie Triple Crown, or PRS Archon? Those amps are all wildly different, and I don't know if I would choose between them. However, if I had to choose like a Desert Island amp, it would definitely be between the Rev Generator and the Mesa Boogie Triple Crown, not the PRS Archon. The Archon for me was a real one-trick pony, and it did one thing incredibly well, and that's about it. It wasn't super versatile. If I had to pick just one with a gun to my head, I would pick the Mesa Boogie Triple Crown only because there's a third channel, whereas the Rev has two channels in that particular model. So, yeah, Mesa Boogie Triple Crown. I've been using it for 90% of everything in the studio. I mean, I've literally moved it right next to my desk so I can, because I use it so often. So, I mean, I think that speaks volumes for it. So, yep, Mesa Boogie Triple Crown. Worst live performance you've ever seen? I think the worst show I ever saw was, I believe it was the 2009 Velvet Revolver show at the Gorge here in Washington. And Alice in Chains was before Velvet Revolver. And Alice in Chains, that was one of the best sounding shows I have ever seen any band do. But, you know, it was Alice in Chains. Of course, it's going to sound huge and humongous. Jerry Cantrell was sounding great. The entire band was just on fire. Velvet Revolver came out, and they were kind of a mess. Scott Weiland was messed up on something, probably everything that he could get his hands on. But the thing that made it the worst show ever was whoever their sound guy was put like a master bus compressor on the main output of the PA, and I could tell, I mean, I wasn't super into audio at the time, but I knew enough to know that's what I was hearing. So the whole band, the whole sound of the band would kind of pump in and out really, really bad, and the whole thing sounded leveled off and limited. Like he threw an L1 limiter on the master output of the PA going out to the PA speakers. I mean, it was unbelievably bad. I ended up walking out amongst a lot of people. We just left because it was kind of unbearable the way it would pump with the low end. Every time the kick drum would hit, the whole thing would duck and then it would hit you back in the chest, and it was unlistenable. It was really, really unpleasant and kind of painful in some situations. That has to be the worst concert I've ever seen in my life. What is the worst concert that you ever saw? Please let me know down in the comments. I really want to know. And now, the dad joke of the week. What time is it when an elephant sits on your fence? Time to get a new fence. My suggestion to you this week is to check out this short, it's kind of an advertisement, but it is a short clip of Chris Lord Alge dissecting one of his mixes that he did for Muse's The Second Law record. And I'm a huge fan of this album, and obviously a huge fan of Chris Lord Alge. And I think it's interesting to note that when you briefly hear the raw tracks and how he got everything, it pretty much already sounds like the album. Like, everything is so well recorded. He's going over, and they kind of briefly go over the moves that he's going over for this particular song. And that is then an advertisement to go and get the full course and watch him do the full song. But this little advertisement on YouTube was awesome. It's a few minutes long, it's like 2 or 3 minutes long, and I thought you guys would really enjoy it. All applicable links down below in the description. You have been wonderful. I have been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.